Okay, here's a wild idea for you. What if a beauty school could be just as vital to a community as, say, a new road or a bridge? It sounds a little strange, I know, but we're about to dive into a white paper that makes a really powerful case for exactly that. It connects beauty education to workforce infrastructure in a way that could totally transform rural economies.
So, let's just get right to it. This is the big question we're tackling today. Can a beauty school really, truly be considered essential infrastructure? I mean, that's a bold claim, right? But the research we're about to unpack presents a surprisingly strong argument for it.
All right, so where does this idea even come from? Well, it's all from a research paper by the Louisville Beauty Academy. And this infographic you're seeing, it's basically our roadmap for this whole explainer. It lays out the problem, their solution, and the results all in one place. So let's break it down, piece by piece.
First things first, we have to understand the core problem they're trying to solve. The paper calls it the financial aid trap, which is a perfect name for how a system that's supposed to help people can actually end up hurting them, especially in a place like rural Kentucky.
And this whole thing really starts with this number, 40%. That's how many Kentuckians live in rural areas. And for a lot of them, that means getting local, affordable career training is just out of reach. They're looking for a good path to a stable job that doesn't mean they have to leave home or get buried in debt.
And this right here, this is the culprit. It's called the 600-hour rule. It's a federal policy, and it basically says that students can't get financial aid like Pell Grants for programs that are shorter than 600 hours. So a rule that was probably designed to make sure programs are high quality accidentally punishes the short, focused training programs. You know, the exact kind that could get people into the workforce fast.
And this creates this crazy paradox. So imagine you want to become a nail tech. In Kentucky, you only need a 450-hour license to start working. Simple enough, right? But wait, if you need financial aid, you can't get it for that 450-hour program. You're forced into a longer, more expensive program that's been padded with extra hours just to hit that 600-hour mark. The result? You spend more time and take on more debt, all to get the exact same license. It's wild.
Okay, so if the traditional way is a trap, is there another path? You bet. And that brings us to the Louisville Beauty Academy, or LBA for short. They saw this whole financial aid mess and built a model from the ground up to completely bypass it.
And this slide just lays it all out, side by side. On the left, you've got the traditional schools, all tangled up in federal aid rules. But on the right, you see the LBA model. It's like a straight shot to a career. By just opting out of the federal aid system, LBA can design programs that match exactly what the state requires for a license. No filler, no extra time, no extra cost. It's a faster, cheaper path to a paycheck.
So the model sounds great on paper, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Well, the paper has the receipts, and the data is pretty compelling.
The first result that just jumps off the page is the cost. I mean, look at this. By cutting out all the federal red tape and just teaching what's needed for the license, LBA's tuition is 50 to 75% lower than similar schools. For so many students, that's the difference between being able to afford a new career and not. It's huge.
And you know, it's not just about the money you save up front. It's also about time, which is money, right? LBA students get licensed and start earning an income months, sometimes even a full year faster than students in traditional programs. That's an incredible head start. And you might be thinking, okay, that's a cool little experiment. But this is way past the experiment stage. Since 2017, LBA has trained over 1,000 beauty professionals. That's more than 1,000 people who have a new career, a new future, because of this model. It's a proven system.
Now this is where the story gets really, really interesting. It's where this idea goes from being just about one successful private school to becoming a potential public revolution. The paper's ultimate vision is to take this debt-free, fast-track model and plug it directly into our public workforce infrastructure.
So how would that even work? The paper lays out a super clear three-step plan. First, instead of students taking out loans, public workforce agencies would use existing funds to cover the tuition. Second, the training stays laser-focused on one thing, getting that license. And third, and this is brilliant, you bring the classrooms directly into rural towns by setting them up in local salons and community centers. It's training that meets people where they are, literally.
You know, this quote from the paper really sums the whole thing up perfectly. The goal is to shift the funding source away from individual student debt and over to existing public workforce programs. It's a simple change on paper, but it could eliminate those huge financial barriers for good.
And that really leads us to the final, provocative question.
Is this the future of vocational training? This debt-free, publicly funded model? I mean, if it works for beauty careers, could it work for welding, for coding, for nursing? It's a really powerful vision for a workforce that's a whole lot more accessible and equitable for everyone.